Good Monday evening, Wisconsin. How is everybody doing? Thank you for joining us on this wonderful evening, big night. We got an awesome guest. We'll get to that in just a second. As we get rolling here, just a friendly reminder if you're hopping in after we are live, if you can just leave replay in the comments. We're always trying to make sure that we fit the best time slot for us to be sharing this. So we do check those out. We do like to make sure that we're staying on top of everything. With that, let's give a quick shout out to the show's sponsor, Higher Love of Michigan. If you haven't found Higher Love yet, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. It's pretty awesome place. They do mostly organic grows. They've got bud tenders to really help you find what you're looking for, and they were nice enough to hook the listeners up with a 15% discount. Please see above me for that. Again, Higher Love makes this possible. Super appreciate them. But also, I would like to give a shout out to DNA Hemp, who we're going to be talking to Ashley with in just a second here. They were tonight's pregame festival activities. They got some beautiful CBD flower pre-rolls, which is great when you're looking to relax, but also not have that psychoactive effect. So I had a pretty long day, so I didn't really need the psychoactive relief. But the morning blend, I know it's evening, that might throw some people off, but I like the morning blend even at night. Just kind of keeps me rolling. So without further ado, I would like to give a shout out to our guest tonight. I had been told to reach out to her after a couple of weeks of getting into the talking with some other businesses in the industry, and I've just heard a lot of people use the word trailblazer for her. And I think if you met her, you would know that that's pretty fitting. So without further ado, let's get Ashley in here. Ashley, how's it going?
Yow, Bobby Beans.
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Bobby Beans. I'm so excited to be right along with you, fellow trailblazer.
Hey, I heard about it. You started it. I'm just here following the trail. But no, it's been really neat to. I mean, like from you helping out with getting us in touch with the Washington County Tavern League for that monthly meeting, or just I've looked at you a few different times on. I really appreciate that. So thought it'd be a great opportunity to get the old Blazer herself here to get a little talking about. We got a lot of questions about farming as far as hemp and everything's involved. So before we really get into things, why don't you just give us a little background on how you kind of got into the cannabis industry in Wisconsin?
Oh my goodness. It has been so exciting times here in Wisconsin. We're in southeastern Wisconsin, farming out of a small town of Farmington, believe it or not. So suiting. Couldn't be more blessed to be on this hemp adventure. And it's really just been a high vibing, super eye-opening, woke type experience. So we just got started when the hemp pilot program came to be. My husband, Danny, the big D in DNA, was like, babe, we're going to grow hemp. And I was like, we are? He's like, yes. He's always had a big passion for the plant, consumer of sorts along his journey. And when the opportunity came to be, and we had an Uncle Dave, who was the farm land owner, he was canna friendly. Him and Danny co-conspirated, and bam, we put seeds in the ground. And we've been living, loving, learning ever since. It's been such a wild ride. And I couldn't thank you enough, Bobby Beans, for out there hot on the trail, the legalization trail, doing your due diligence to see to that, you know, the bill and the legislation that will be passed here in Wisconsin is something farmer forward, farmer friendly. So thanks for connecting with us and giving us a voice in this matter, because here in Wisconsin, where we're rooted in big agriculture, where our soil and our climate and the geography, the topography has everything working for it, for the secret sauce to grow some killer dank. So.
Well, it's got such a rooted history, like you say, and yeah, it's just Wisconsin's made for this, man. It's kind of silly that we're on the tail end of it, but I know there's been a lot of good places, or a lot of. I feel like the people in the know early on when it comes to like hemp and stuff. So like yourself and a couple other big farmers out there, like I'm glad that you guys figured out something with hemp and to kind of get that ball rolling, because you're kind of setting the precedence for like this can be done. I mean, obviously slightly different plant, and or in some cases very different, so on and so forth. But you're giving cannabis a good rap out there, and I think that's key. And that's what the first bill was introduced to do, I think. So kudos on that. Um, well, let's start with the basics. I don't know, you know me. You kind of gotta, we gotta work our way up. We can't just go right into it here. What
Yep.
just the basics of hemp farming? What would you say sets it apart from other types of farming?
Oh my goodness. Hemp farming ain't easy. I feel like, yes, it is a weed. And in theory, it is supposed to be weeds just grow, right? A good thing is that hemp is very hardy. It's a hardy plant. So you don't need a ton to grow it, but it's a lot of handwork. So there is not implements and things that you could just throw on a tractor to make things a little bit easier aside from the transplanting or the propagation aspect, but just getting out there and loving on the plants. And that's what makes it a little bit different is because we grow sun-grown organic using biodynamic farming techniques, which is having a cover crop rotation, and using compost to just a holistic style to farming. That's what we do at DNA Hemp on our sun-grown organic farm. And which works perfectly for hemp because I feel like that's where it thrives the most. So with a little bit of love and THC and know-how, or TLC, I should say.
Yeah, we know what you were doing before this. Shout out to the new THCA gummies you guys have. Thank you for letting me sample those. Definitely
You're
on
here.
point. Yes, definitely on point.
Mm.
Yes, those work, and perhaps that's where you're mixing up your words. But no, real quick, I always like to kind of think from the viewer's side too. So I always just kind of try to think of different questions. Do you guys do mainly one strain, or because I think that's one of the neat things about hemp or cannabis in general is just, you in theory you could be growing 100 different strains that are going to be that would be a terrible idea for efficiency because they again when I imaginatively did a grow, I thought, oh yeah, it's a weed, it'll be easy. It ain't easy, folks. It ain't. I mean, yeah, you can grow it, but it ain't gonna do anything. It ain't gonna be beautiful. So, do you guys kind of focus on like what's your kind of layout as far as that goes? Just curious.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about gardening, Bobby Beans, is, you don't always get it right. You don't always get it done, but gosh darn it, you will hopefully live to see another grow season. So just really perfecting the craft and figuring out what works with your soil and whatnot. It all really starts from the soil. So using that compost, using those organic nutrients to prep the soil and make sure that your seeds have the best standing chance. But you're absolutely right. Genetics is everything. It starts with the bean, just planting seeds, and the darker, the juicier bean, the better. So maybe with some tiger stripes is how we're sourcing genetics. But we work with Trilogene Genetics. They're experts in their field. They're elite hemp genetics, and it's tried and true. We've done probably over 15 different strains with them, depending on the year and kind of what we've been the grow plan is. And I always refer to the big D for that. He's got a vision and we just help him execute it with the Earth Mama.
I was gonna say he's kind of the dreamer, he kind of sees it, and then it's obviously got to be a group effort. Like I'm assuming it's not even just two of you. You must have like a team to help throughout the season because that's how many plants roughly would you say you guys grow?
It's a seasonal job for sure because here with being sun grown organic, we're not growing indoor hemp. Yeah, it's definitely for when the summer seasons on. It's approximately 120-day grow cycle. So we're talking about 4 months.
Okay.
We have, unless you're using auto flower, which you can flip in a 60 days. So but it's less weight per plant to be harvested. So.
Real quick, touching on that, if you're gonna grow, make sure you know what the difference between an auto flower and non-auto is. Unlike some people who just think, "Oh, auto, that sounds cool," and then
No, yeah,
realize
know your difference. And that's why working with a genetic company that is known and trusted, you really vetted them out, works the best because they're essentially there to guide you and help you use as a resource because they're propagating on a whole nother level with their pollination and their genetics. That's really a whole science in and of itself. So using them as a wealth of knowledge is super important and building that relationship with your geneticist. So Trilogene Seeds, shout out to them. They have regionalized genetics here that are
that's awesome.
here in Wisconsin. So they're a really great company to work with, and the customer service there is amazing. So
Well, and that's
we
one thing I've noticed in this industry in general, whether it's talking to somebody who sells, somebody who grows, anybody in between, like that's kind of the cool thing. Like you find the right people are about like a togetherness. So especially when you're talking about like a seed company, because there's a lot out there where you just buy and you get it, and sure you can follow like a
good luck.
generic thing, but it's yeah, exactly. It's really neat that you found somebody who and again every like I don't even know how far, but every state could be a little different as far as soil, sun phase, all that. So that's really cool. That's good to know.
And that's why
Excuse me.
genetics are so important. You want stabilized genetics that are
Right.
regionalized, because otherwise you're going hot. And
Yep.
that's just more hoops and loops that you're going to have to jump through if you decide to remediate the plant and still use all those vital cannabinoids that you've harvested, just minus that THC. And that's something you work out with the processor,
Sure.
that's able to do that small batch processing for you.
Right.
But you pay too. You're
Oh
paying
yeah.
to play, to get
Sure.
things extracted with the extraction company. So even though you're winding up with that wonderful end product, either crude or distillate, it does cost per pound to extract. So
And I'm assuming that just like anything in this industry, like, you can get it done cheap, but then there's no, you usually get what you pay for. And again, you're building that relationship and you're learning what kind of equipment they use and the quality, obviously, I would assume is a big part of it. So, that
huge
makes,
quality is everything. We're talking about plant medicine here, Bobby Beans.
right.
Like,
Stuff we're consuming. Yeah, no, it
yeah.
makes sense.
So that is of utmost importance. And again, it really starts from the soil and the seed. So,
Sure.
all very important things to consider. One year we did 6 different strains, and it was pretty wild. It turned out to be the chakra colors for when we got to the marketing branding perspective of like how we're going to present this to the public. Because we had red Bordeaux as a strain, so we assigned red to that color.
Mhm.
We had Bueno, which was green, ultraviolet, purple. So it was kind of wild how it all ended up being the rainbow
Oh,
for
that's cool.
chakra colors, and so that we like kind of then related to our energy centers and how we can heal on that level too. So it was really cool. I feel like this journey has just been written in the stars, and we get by with a little help from our friends. So
I felt that. I felt that literally every day. I can attest to that being a real thing. Real quick, one of the just kind of talking about the different stages here of the grow. I know we kind of went over the seed selection, vegetative state. I'm not gonna lie, when I was first started getting into growing, I'm like, vegetative. We ain't making vegetables here, are we? Like, but now I've learned. But could you just discuss a little bit about the vegetative state and what it is, and then how crucial it is with the growth and the requirements and such?
aha. Well, I mean, we'll start with the seed. We want to propagate the seed. We use cell trays that we put the seeds in with then 100% moisture. So we're drenching, we're just putting it in with like not even the seed, just like lightly covered with soil in your cell tray. And you want to tuck those in really good, just enough. And some people will even start their seeds in a wet paper towel so they sprout a little bit and then plug them in the soil. But on mass scale, we're plugging them right in and making sure they're super. They have 100% moisture, so they can have their best sense to propagate, and then they become little baby seedlings. They're so cute, and that can happen within like 72 hours, 24 to 72 hours. So it's kind of fun to see them prop up, sprout out above, and then from there, that's when the vegetative state is starting to grow from the seedlings to the veg. And in even until we're ready to transplant plant in the field, we keep them in a hoop house, which is kind of like a greenhouse, but not, you can't control as many variables. I feel like I describe it as like an incubator for the seedlings, for little baby plants. You just got to keep the wind from blowing them over and keep them, maintain that moisture in the air. And it's normally hotter in the hoop house, so the temperature is just right for them to have the best starting chance. Using like a peat moss and an organic soil with that we mix our compost into. So then you're into the vegetative stage, that's when you're growing all your foliage. That's when all the green is coming. When the plants can get up to 6 feet, 8 feet tall, and like 4 feet wide. I mean, these are big mothers, and that's when you're getting all your fan leaves and all your your bud sites, and the things are really starting to happen. And a lot of it needs some nutrients in there. We work with a company, Key to Life. They're out of Colorado, but they're worldwide and as far as their nutrient supply. And they use a mix called the Silver Bullet, which is pretty much sulfur, which in the vegetative states to really enhance the terpene profiles later on, you're going to want to make sure you supplement them and give some good food, organic nutrients to feed off of. And that'd be the Silver Bullet, which is essentially sulfur to help the nitrogen uptake throughout the soil.
I tell you what, real quick, you gotta, especially, I really wanted to learn how to grow just so that I wasn't looking to like deal or, and one plant would probably last me like 2 years. Like, I wasn't trying to get rich or anything. I just wanted to learn the plant. I wanted to learn more about it. And it is, well, now I was doing autoflowers, which I realized after starting, maybe not the best to start with, because then when something goes wrong, it's also accelerated as far as the time frame that you would need to react to it and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's, you really got to know your stuff, because like I had a book, I had a grower from that worked with the company I knew. I had another guy online that I met on a forum, and like, hey,
Help!
here's what the leaves look like, and it's like, oh, it looks like nitrogen. Like it is not. It is like there's a lot that goes into it. So yeah, I can imagine. Kind of getting. I'm assuming most of the stuff you went through a couple people until you find what you could actually kind of build. And again, you could have the perfect soil, but if you don't have the perfect, so like you say, the sulfur or nitrogen, like there's a lot to it, folks. So
Yeah. All about the nutrients.
the news.
Shout out to those boys over there. My guy Ian, he does such a nice job. Really, again, working with the best in the industry to kind of help guide you, because it is a science, and you gotta let the soil nerds work their magic. They really know what they're talking about, and you gotta listen when they are saying. But of course, tweaking things to what's working best for you and what's best for your farm. So it's really,
and it's great.
Really, there's no right or wrong. Just you gotta get growing, right?
Sure. So it'll be interesting just to see over the coming years. I feel like I don't know that it was always known about like the scrog nets and like how you can kind of like get the sea of green, or how you can do the fimming with the top, and like the plants are so, it's just crazy. It is a crazy awesome plant.
She's so beautiful. I love that it's all feminized. Like the flowering plants are all female. I feel like it's been always fun. No males allowed in the field.
Kill all males. I don't think we need to shout that too loud now. Come on.
Hey, we are a woman. I'm all about the goddess, woman, female energy out here, because tending to the plants, it just speaks to our souls. It's the lady's touch. Got the green thumb. But yeah, all the things.
When do you know that the vegetative state is coming to an end, and what comes after that?
Well, okay, so we have the seeds in the hoop house. We love down and we cared for them. We're going to harden them off. We're going to put them outside, during the day, so they can still soak up the sun and let the breeze blow through them, and then tuck them back in at night. That'll kind of help them make the stem strong and sturdy. And when they're about this about tall, and the roots are really nice and established, then we'll know it's time to put them out in the field and put them in their forever home. So that, by the way of the moon, Bobby Beans, we plant them out into the field. We do have a tractor for that with a ride-along implement that we put cell trays on. And planting day is the funnest day out at the farm. Like, we always have a crew of friends and family and seasonal help out there. It's just a really high vibe and good time as we plug the seeds in the ground. But, even though the tractor is going through, we've done it a number of ways. We always use a cover crop, clover, out in the back, so we'll plant those seeds after our rows. But the implement is essentially, we'll have the field all prepped and tilled and ready to go, and then also running through to create the rows that we'll be planting. And then there's also a plastic weed barrier. Boy, I mean, weeds are a real thing in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. You have to get ahead of it. Otherwise, they will just, when you're doing sun-grown organic, they'll just overtake everything. So, fine for grain and fiber, which nobody, it's not a thing right now. But when you're wanting that plant medicine for the CBD or for the cannabinoids, really keeping the weeds at bay is giving that plant the best chance to grow to its most potential. So I've used a plastic weed barrier, and that seemed to help like a lot, but then we also have not, where it's a little bit more intensive, labor intensive, doing the weed remediation, which is super important. And that's getting out there. We're out there on our hands and knees, plucking weeds. There's really with hose, rototillers, you name it. You're just out there trying to get ahead of it before. But then you get it to a good point. But anyways, riding on the tractor, plugging the seeds in the ground, and then from there we're also lining our irrigation system that's under the weed barrier as well. So that's how we're going to fertigate or feed the nutrients to the plants, even in their vegetative state, by making like a compost tea and using the key to life nutrients. And that's with our spring water from our spring fed pond. Water is also very, very important. Sourcing your water, just like us, the type of water you drink does matter. Same with the plants. So water is life. So that's a vital source we're so blessed and fortunate to have spring fed source on our property that Dan then pumps up and can push through the irrigation to fertigate the plants. Because it does last summer was brutal. It was so dry outside. Sure. So we just went through a ton of water trying to keep those babies growing. And even then the plants were rather smaller than in years past, because it just didn't matter how much water you gave them. It was that dry out. So, working with the elements, the conditions is always a factor in farming. And there is no hemp insurance or crop insurance. They might... Yeah, good. They say good luck. It's not supported. So not like the traditional farmer, which also makes hemp farming that much different.
Sure. Real quick, Phil Scott, what's up, buddy? He says two of my favorite people. I think he's exaggerating a little bit on my end, but no, I'm glad that you guys Ashley introduced me to you. That was awesome. So, right on. So first of all, can you remind me when it's, I would like to make a couple trips just to help and learn as much as I can, but definitely like the way you're excited about planting day?
Planting day. Yes.
Let me know. I want to be there. I want to help. I'm just there to help and I want to take it in. This sounds way cool. So
yes, Bobby Beans, you are out there. Philip Scott has been out to the farm. Maybe you guys can rendezvous out there by the farm. And it really is.
There we go.
It is really something to see and be a part of, because it's like history in the making. We are writing the script, Bobby Beans.
You're right. That's awesome. Well, very cool. And then real quick, when you're saying, I'm just trying to picture in my head, you're driving the tractor, and then it would make sense. It would make sense that somebody's like sitting on something, and then there's something that kind of is pushing. You take it out, and then the next one comes ready for you to put into, and
yeah, so it's got a wheel that you're also, it's really important to get the water on them right away as soon as you get them in the ground. And we shoot them with some organic nutrients as well. That's worked into there's a big tank, a water tank on there. So the water tank's above, the wheel's turning below and kind of puncturing the holes, and you're lining that up right with your drip line irrigation, and then kind of creates a little a pocket for your seedling, and then you're just transplanting right in there.
Okay.
And then, the tractor is running slow enough where you can kind of tuck it in and pull the soil over the top, but we normally have someone behind kind of tucking them in real nice.
Taking a second with it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the earth makes sense. Out there. Kelly Sunshine's out there working her magic and Reiki infusing each plant. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
That's awesome. And then, so we go from that to get the water on it. Makes sense. Following this process along in my head, that makes sense. And now you have a field, and now you have the nutrients ready. Also, I'm assuming the nutrients, there must be something somewhere, there's a main control, because obviously as the plant grows, you feed it more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Most definitely. And kind of depending on, how much rainwater we're getting and what's all going on. The cover crop helps with nutrients as well. And the root systems down there. That's why soil is so important. It's kind of like, it has a root system where they'll be able to deliver different nutrients to different plants as they need it. So it's kind of really cool about all this. That's why the soil is so important, and getting the proper nutrients on them so they can grow the best, big, beautiful buds in the flowering stage.
And I'm guessing, real quick, do you have like a journal or something too? Like, do you ever have to look back? Like, well, wait a second, they don't look. What were we doing last? Like, I'm assuming there's kind of a process for recording all that too.
Yes, I would always make maps, like actually hand
Oh,
done
okay.
maps. And because sometimes with the different strains and how many strains you have out there, you want to make sure you stay really organized and on top of the game. So, yeah, we'll do field notes out there and kind of take note of what really worked, what didn't, especially with the topping too, because that adds another layer of complexity. One time, my husband Dan had 10,000 plants in the ground on on about 10 acres, and it was like the field of dreams out there, but it was a lot to keep track of and manage, especially throughout the changing of the
Can
months there.
imagine.
And summer just flies by, so it's
Okay.
definitely want to take lots of field notes and just keep honing in on your craft. But
Learning as you go, for sure.
pruning too,
Uh,
it's kind of like a tomato plant. You take off the suckers on the tomato to get
yeah,
the nutrients, to where they need to go. That's what you're doing with hemp, is you're taking kind of off the fan leaves, the sugar leaves, to kind of give more weight to the flower producing bud sites. So
sure. And
you
again,
can
that's something that
all,
you learn over time. You don't just I
yeah,
read a couple of things, so I start removing. Then next thing you know, it's like, oh, you must have took off too many. It's like, so yeah. Again, folks, this is like the grand picture here. This is, but if you're doing anything yourself, just well, first of all, you shouldn't be growing without a license. If you got a license, talk to a licensed grower that's
anyone can get
experienced.
a license, by the way. It's free through the USDA.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I mean, generally to apply, if you're a felon, sorry, it's not going to happen for you. But otherwise, anyone can grow. You just have to be within the USDA compliance as far as testing. So,
Sure.
and that's why, if you
Dustin.
are going to grow, they are taking the colas are like a substantial part of the plant. So, I mean, when you have 10,000 plants, you're like, go ahead, take what you need for each strain. But when you only have like 10 plants, you're like, no,
Wait, they take a cola. How many colas? One
like,
off of each one?
I mean, they can take whatever, in
Really?
theory, whatever they need,
Okay.
right? Uh,
Yeah,
for the
that's
test. So,
I'm guessing they didn't take 10,000 that day.
no, I mean, that's what I'm
No, but I'm just saying
saying.
that in theory. No, I get it.
Yeah, no, yeah, they were out there. That was first. It was through the Department of Agriculture that did the testing, and now this will be year 3 that the USDA has taken over the testing.
Sure, right on.
Mhm.
Roughly how long would you say is the vegetative stage at the longest state? Or would
Well,
that
so
be fair?
about 120-day growth cycle, it's going to be about half that time, maybe a little bit more,
Okay.
and then it'll flip in. And it kind of depends on the moon and the sun cycles and where you're at in the summer. I feel like can speed up or slow down. Also with different kind of genetics too. So it really just depends on a variety of factors, but generally on like about 60 days in, if you are basing on a 120-day grow,
Okay.
60, 70, and
Gotcha.
that's going to start to flip into flowering,
So
which
what is flowering? That sounds interesting.
oh, the flowers are so beautiful. Each one is different and unique. And even from the same strain, it's really cool to see the different phenotypes being expressed with the different cultivars, just different genetics to different smells, and even the terpenes that are expressed depending on their root system and kind of what's all going on underneath. But they're so beautiful. They're just the buds out in the field and how they smell. I mean, again, it looks the same, it smells the same, it smokes the same. It's just not the same. You could smoke our whole field and not catch a buzz, not get high, but you will be high vibing. That's for sure. Uh,
I
but
love
the
that.
flowering stage is just so exciting. And that for your irrigation and the fertigation, fertilizing through your irrigation system, the plants need more phosphorus and potassium. So you're switching to a different nutrient blend and really making sure that the plants are getting um, more of that to really develop those terpene profiles and get that potency. But it's really a fine line too for nutrients and how much, and creating the perfect tea blend from nutrients to water, because going hot and passing that zero point 0.3 threshold is very easy to do. So it's always a delicate balance, and kind of staying in tune with the plants and listening, watching, learning, and being open to different possibilities, and really having to be a good problem solver for the the variation and measurements and whatnot from year to year in genetics
Sure.
should adjust.
And real quick, I found a quick picture just to kind of help show some people
Oh,
here.
yes.
I'm guessing over here would be the germination, the seedling stage,
Yes.
what you're doing in the what was it called? And
Well,
like I said,
that's the seed, the bean.
yeah, but you
And
do
then
that. That's not in the ground outside yet, right? When you guys do that, that would typically be in the
we
what's it
start them
called?
in the hoop house just to
A
really give them
hoop
their
house.
best
Okay,
year. Yeah, in
and
our hoop
then
house.
then this would be your oh my gosh, come on. This would be is this
Seedling.
seedling? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's seedling. This
Mhm.
is when you're going outside with them,
Yes, that's when you're transplanting. Got it.
Roger. And then this would be flowering, full blown flowering, correct?
Yes, that's the one.
So just trying to get a quick little visual for people
But
who are
although it
kind of
does not look like that, I mean,
I
that's
was
like
just looking at that too. That's a
it's
big
not like that, but that is the buds. Like that is what the flower is looking like. And each plant has hundreds of different bud sites that
sure.
all look beautiful. I mean, if you look on our Instagram, DNA Hemp, you will see plenty of bud pics. Although we got to be careful what we post on there because it is very regulated.
Oh yeah.
So I know they don't want too
We
pretty
know
of
all
flowers on there. You know, you gotta
we know
like
all about
that.
that, folks.
Yes.
Yeah, so a little more like that. So yeah, right on. Just want to get that out there real quick. Now how did I get that on there? Stop screen. There we go. All right, back to business.
Thank you for
So
that visual representation, Bobby Bates.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the flowering phase, that would that is kind of in Mother Nature's hands, no? When you're doing something outside like that,
Yeah. Yeah,
as
pretty
far
much.
as when the
Going out
light
there.
cycle starts to change, as far is it when the plant gets more dark, more it's in the dark more than it's in the light, or not necessarily specifically that,
Yeah, I think the days are getting shorter, right?
right? So it knows,
Um,
and that's
mhm.
what gets it to start flowering. And
Mhm.
then the flowering must be the kind of final stage, as far as at the end of flowering is when you go to harvest.
Yes.
Okay,
Again, they're a delicate balance of knowing when's the perfect harvest time. I always try to do it coincide with the moon and the cycles there because that's a lot of good energy.
sure.
Danny, you might think I'm a little wild for doing it, but if it works, it's been
Okay.
working.
Yeah.
And so the harvest day is one of my most favorite days too. A lot of crazy things have went out happened on the farm on harvest day. I got some good stories,
Oh boy.
but always a good time. It's when you want again into the balance. You want the highest cannabinoid percentage, but still maintain that 0.3% threshold. Mind you, you're getting USDA to come on out and test all your plants, do their cuttings on the scene. They'll come out and do that. And then you have 30 days to harvest. So timing is always a thing. You want to make sure you're ready for harvest. Those 30 days can go by really fast, and maybe you do it sooner too. I mean, it's all totally
Well, sure.
where the grow is at, but you want to make sure the trichomes aren't too milky, but
Oh
milky.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you want them white, but not too white, but not too clear. Oh, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, you really just gotta catch a vibe. Like, let them speak to you and be like, "Whoa, this is ready."
We are good to go.
And then the work is only. I feel like your work has just begun. Believe
Hmm.
it or not, with that, it's crazy.
Yeah, I did. I think the most I imaginatively harvested was 4 plants, and it took forever. And these weren't like super. I was learning as I go, and so there was like 3 colas that were really good, and some littler ones, and I was just like, this is what we have to do. Like, there's got to be a misprint. Like, what? You got to dry it. You got to trim and trim and trim and trim and trim, and it's all sticky, so it's not just like super easy. And then if you're talking about 10,000 plants, I'm assuming there's got to be some kind of tool that helps you with that a little bit. No.
No,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
hand. It's all by hand. So my husband goes out there and he gives us the girls use them too, but with the hacksaw, and you're just like, we're just hacking them on down. Some people leave them in the field to dry, but we know we always hang them up. And very locations, that's a challenge too on where to hang dry your hemp, especially when you have 10 acres of it,
Yeah,
and
no
10,000
kidding.
pounds. So getting super creative, but making sure it's a cool, dry, preferably dark area that you can control the humidity. You don't want it too wet,
Mhm.
right? But you don't want it like super dry because you want to be able to slow dry them because that's part of the curing as well. So, but yeah, it's all hacking by hand, putting them on like a hay trailer, and then hauling them to your dry site, and then having the dry site set up where you can then hook your plants on and hang dry them,
And that's the easier part because then you still got to trim them.
and then you still are shucking and bucking. So once they have, it's about a week long to get to that desired moisture content of the buds. And what you want to do, so then you're shucking and bucking. So you're pretty much like taking the dried stalk and
getting the buds out.
all the buds into your hemp sack.
Sure.
And then you'll have your biomass. But of course, from that harvest, you would clip your colas. And that's always a good time. We keep those separate and hang dry those in a more controlled environment than we would for our biomass. Because when we're talking scale here,
Yeah, you got to kind of pick your battles.
Is a lot. So yeah, we're taking the best of the best buds, and that's going to be used for smokable flour, and then the rest biomass, which will get processed and extracted for our distillate that we use in our products. So.
Right on. And there is definitely, like you were saying, the curing process. I remember like the amount in mine was auto, so they were kind of like accelerated growth, but it still seemed like such a lengthy process that when I didn't have to saw them because of course mine are still, again, I'm not super great at this, but I definitely the scissors didn't work, so I was impressed. The stock was pretty good. But anyway, so I get it off, I'm getting them ready to dry, and I'm like, I should just smoke a little bit. Doesn't really work that great yet, does it? Like the curing is definitely something you want to take the time to do and let those let the conversion happen as far as the cannabinoids and such. So I think it also has a lot to do with the terpenes, if I'm not mistaken, as far as like the profile and how it's presented. Again, it's such a unique plant that it's not just like, you just think back in time and they figured out this plant grows. Who the heck thought, oh, we should let it sit for a week? Like maybe somebody made it a day, maybe two, but like it's just such a unique plant with all the different. It's just like it's crazy. It's an awesome plant.
Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, working with other herbs on the farm, we have a lot of medicinal herbs that we wildcraft right on our farm. It's really just a really exciting time to be working with not only the queen of herbs, cannabis or hemp, and pair that with other botanicals, because together the synergy that's created is just truly magic. But honestly, like drying herbs, it's pretty similar. Concept to drying the hemp to other herbs on that scale. So it's been a cool process to see the similarities, and that it is just another herb in the garden. It was nature and God intended the plant to be used just like basil, mint, or lemon balm, all of different therapeutic kind of medicinal value there. And it's really how you use it. So, and the thing about hemp, that the whole plant can be used. So I mean,
no waste.
We're using the stalks for compost, for bedding. I got people making crafts with them. They're wanting to use them for all kinds of crazy things with the stalks. The fan leaves, sugar leaves, we made artwork and are saving them in our Bible papers to Mod Podge, or fan leaves to juice. There's a lot of valuable nutrients that are available in the fan leaves and the sugar leaves themselves. And then pressing the buds, on a rosin to get that pure drip. It's really, really accessible to be used as an herbalist that is interested in plant medicine. And you would treat it much as the same as other plant medicine. And that's just by creating and incorporating it into your life.
No, that makes sense. Real quick, can you kind of touch on, I thought I saw somewhere the seed to soul philosophy that you use?
Seed to soul. That's just what it is. I mean, having that single source value there, where from the people that are cultivating the hemp to procuring the products with such great intention and honesty, and really building that trust where people can get to know their farmer. So I feel like that's what DNA Hemp, DNA standing for Danny and Ashley. I have two kids, Nixon and Nevaeh, so we signed Christmas cards DN Square Day, but just written in the stars. But yeah, just really adding value there from that single source point of contact, and letting the farmer have that creative reign, which also makes hemp farming very different than other types of farming, because you really have to have an entrepreneurial mindset, an ingenuitive mindset, because this hasn't been done for 100 years or so. So here in the United States, so I'm really kind of writing the script and figuring it out as you go along, one day at a time.
Exactly. I
We
felt
just
that. I felt that.
know. We put our heart and soul into everything that we present to our community, and that relationship is everything to us. Is providing the alternative medicine and healing for people, and that's what's kind of keeps driving this passion project all the way through. Because there's been so many obstacles on with CBD. When we started, people didn't even know what CBD really was. So just on that education front, doing the farmers markets and having yoga out on the hemp farm and different healing modalities to really connect the dots for people and give them different options for their wellness.
No, that's awesome. And it is, there's, well, like you said, and I think I've learned this from just about anybody in the industry that it seems to be like yourself, which is this is part of your life, growing it, the harvesting, the planting, getting it to the community. The people who realize the true passion of the plant, I think all would attest to the same thing, which is especially what has happened over, like you were saying, with CBD when it first came out, and just the unknown of tomorrow, especially in Wisconsin, all that. Like, if you're in this industry to make money, you're not in it for the right reasons, and you're going to be disappointed. Like, you gotta, this has
Be
got to be a,
disappointed. Yeah.
it's got to be a passion, because
Well, yeah,
it's,
because when a corn farmer grows their corn, they're bringing their whole load to the mill, and they have a set price per pound, and
right,
they write the check there, and they send them on their merry way, and they get to keep on farming. Well, with
right.
hemp farming, given after our first year, we had a beautiful season, a wonderful harvest. We put in all the work, and then we're like, well, now what?
Right.
Finding buyers and unique niche markets, and vetting out people that you want to work with, and establishing those business relationships is really not something the average farmer Joe wants to sign up for. So a lot of work here to do in Wisconsin to be able to have these avenues so people can procure, let farmers be farmers and grow the best hemp possible. Whether I feel like grain and fiber too, Bobby. I mean, that's like a whole another beast to
Oh
be
yeah.
tapped into. I know normally it's kind of like taboo for can't marijuana farmers to want anything to do with grain and fiber, simply because of the medicinal value and seeding out and things like that. But man, I mean, we really have an opportunity to change the world with this plant. If we combined our resources and connected the dots, like what you're doing here, Bobby Beans, I think where anything is possible, even the impossible.
Hey, definitely. And like, just being able to see what you've done with your community, obviously that's just a big, I don't know, like a breath of fresh air, and a breath of like, this can be figured out, because it's gonna take a couple of, like, it's gonna take a what does that saying go? It's gonna take a force. It's gonna take it's gonna take like a big group of people. Like, it's gonna take the networking of the people
High
doing
Vibe
it right.
Tribe!
What's up?
High Vibe Tribe!
It's a high vibe tribe. There you go. That maybe was what I was looking for.
Yes.
But
Join
as
our High
far,
Vibe Tribe, DNAHempLLC.com. Please do. Keep up with us on the farm. We got all kinds of fun things going on and different ways for people to be able to ground down and connect with us. I feel like that's what makes our farm so special. Might be the funny farm, but we're doing pretty awesome
I
things out
think Danny D keeps it pretty legit. Hey,
He
it's
does.
it's
Oh
them
my God.
other it's them ladies. They're a little funny.
We're the yin and the yang. He's like, he's amazing. He's a miracle.
Right
Uh,
on. Well, now that you're kind of talking about it, what about the manufacturing process and the distribution channels? Is it typically like, do you guys, so like, for instance, those beautiful pre rolls that I was able to get from you, do you guys pack those in house? Do you get some butter off the colas and send that? Like, again, you were explaining, it's not just, oh, here you go to this one guy. Is it, there's somebody who wants to make pre rolls with you, so you take some here, but then there's some people who want to make oil? Are you trying to figure all that out, and what should go where? Or
this might be a whole nother podcast.
okay,
Oh
okay,
my gosh, I can't tell you all my secrets, but we work with the best of the best. I know our balm is one of our best sellers, and we work with the manufacturer that does such an amazing job packaging and using our small batch hemp into each one of these products. So we try to do most of what we can in-house,
Sure.
working with the raw plant and kind of just, being like letting the herbalist shine there, working with herbs, from tincturing the plant to making teas with the plant and herbal blends. Our high vibe herbal blends are so amazing. We use our sun-grown organic crafted herbs from the farm and pair them with different hemp strains to kind of induce effect or an
Okay.
emotion, kind of like a vibe, if you will. Uh, so that's kind of, I feel like the future of cannabis is working with other botanicals. And what's really cool about those, we paired them, you can smoke them. So they have really good medicinal benefits when same as you would smoke hemp. With other herbs, you can like smudge them as like an energy clearing, or you can make a
Okay.
tea. And teas are so important because you're using all the elements when making tea. So really grounding down to that higher love. So the teas we make in house, chapsticks we're making in house, roller balls we're making in house. We work with a commercial kitchen to procure all these products and do our work to make sure everything's too legit to quit. But we do outsource our oils and our balm. And I feel like we've had our soap made from a soap maker. That's what she does, and it's amazing. We've really had fostered some interesting collaborations of sorts. Mushrooms being next. Hemp and mushrooms is going to be next level. But we work with the best that we can really align with, and our values do align to really make some great products that we're so proud to present to our community. And the feedback that we've been getting from them is just amazing, and that's what makes us pursue this passion and keep going forward, because it is helping people. At the end of the day, hemp helps. So that is the fuel behind the fire, and working with God's gifts and everybody sharing their gifts and utilizing what your heart passion is. For you, Bobby, it's being able to connect with people
Mhm.
and see the big picture things, um and your honest demeanor is just so inspiring. But yeah, working with people to be the change and keep creating. I'm always creating. I'm always like, what's next? What are we going? Like, what are we making? What are we infusing? But once the hemp has went on, I like eat, breathe, sleep hemp. I'm getting my master's degree in herbalism. I just couldn't believe more in the power of the plant, and the potential is so there. Wait till we start doing medicinal bouquets, herbal bouquets from herbs and autoflower. It's going to be insane.
Oh, this sounds awesome. And you touched on something really cool because to to just kind of touch on the how it's just such a cool plant and so unique, and the different uses that can come from a harvest and the different ways you can get that plant, as far as whether it's a balm or it's a flower to smoke or making into edibles, that kind of stuff. It also really opens the door for you to work with, to find the best of the best, to find the right people. And so you're almost like you're building even like another tribe essentially of, this is a group effort, this is a team, this is, you want to find the right people. You get, and like you said, I appreciate that you're saying you're looking for people with the same values, because just talking to you, knowing the effort and the love and passion you put into the plants, and knowing that you're probably going to be making sure that whoever you're working with, whether it's whatever channel, is going to be a very similar alignment. Like, I
Mm.
think that's what really is would end up setting you apart. Is this isn't just, again, if you're in this just to make a buck and you're just trying to flip everything, I think you can tell those products when you try them. Where when it comes to somebody as passionate and devoted to figuring this out in such a tough state, like it'd be very easy to say, you know what, nobody knows what CBD is, this is just a headache, or just like Eric was saying, as far as like advertising and how limited that is, and banking, and there'd be so many opportunities to just whatever. But the fact that you've made it this far and you're this passionate, I think it just really speaks volumes to the potential that you guys have. I mean, what you've already accomplished, but even the potential to take it even further. I think
Mm.
that's just something that we need in this industry, because it'd be very easy to get complacent, and I don't see that happening over at DNA Hemp.
Oh no. We are just getting started, baby. Oh my gosh. It's all the way up. All the way up. And humble beginnings, grassroots, homegrown, high vibing healing is what we pride ourselves on. And cultivating a natural pharmacy. We're just planting seeds of love and gratitude and good intentions. And it's crazy how abundant the universe is, and how it flows in your favor when you really have those honest intentions. So your vibe really attracts your tribe. I really believe in that, and he works in mysterious ways. So we're just on the right path here, and really excited for what the future has to hold. Now that we've bought the farm, we bought 40 acres from Uncle Dave. It is now um, part of our conglomerate at DNA and what we're building over there. So now it's like really setting in foundation. My husband he's a contractor. He builds houses or remodels by trade. So he's a general contractor. He's been redoing the 100-year-old farmstead house on there, and it is so amazing. It's so sick out there. So we're gonna have a lot of good intentions and plans for how we want to connect with people in the community and bring them out on the farm, and let's learn together. Community gardens and sound bowls with the plants, everything infused from chef to table dinners, seed to soul dinners, infused dinners out there. Weddings, who knows? Now we have running water and toilets because when we first started, we did not. So.
They are keeping up with the riches at next door here. Looks like we had a quick question from Tammy. Do you guys happen to know what you would do if it was legalized to grow cannabis as opposed to hemp? Would you be looking to stay in the hemp industry? Do you know? Or I mean, obviously that's out there, and I guess it could probably. I don't know. Do you know? Do you have a take on that, or kind of taking everything day by day? And
Well, it's kind of wild right now with the THCA that's legal right now. Insanity. It's from when the genetics are more stabilized and people can really harvest at the most opportune times to be able to be within that 0.3% Delta 9 compliancy. I mean, call it hemp derived THCA, but it's getting people elevated. It's getting people lifted. So I feel like we offer THC pre-rolls and gummies right now. You can get them on our website, dnahempllc.com, after you join our High Vibe Tribe.
High Vibe Tribe.
Subscribe to the tribe.
Do you have a jingle? Do you have like a song for High Vibe Tribe?
Oh, for sure. It's DNA all the way. DNA all the way. That's what the kids came up with. And shout out to the future generations, our kids that will never grow up with any what's the word I'm looking for? Like they won't know the cannabis prohibition.
Oh, sure.
So ending on this island of prohibition here in Wisconsin, Bobby Beans. Get to work.
Hey, we're going. We got a meeting with so Robin Voss's office finally got back to me, but of course it's just the aide that we'll get to talk to on Wednesday. But let me tell you, I'm gonna have enough information for this aide that it's so what I've had to start doing with Mr. Voss is okay, this is my third email. I've stopped by your office twice, so I'm just gonna keep like, man, if you don't want to talk, that's cool. But I don't know. It's just we're getting there. We're getting there.
Good energy, Bobby Beans. You can do it. You're making a difference. You really
we'll
are.
make it happen. Yeah, but again, it's all you guys too. Like you guys are. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I feed off the energy of you, the supporters, and we're all in it together. Because there's gonna be plenty of days where I'm gonna call you or talk to Pete over at Green Swan and be like, "Dude, what are we doing? What am I doing? Like, I don't even." And you guys got to keep me rolling too. So I super appreciate that. Like Pete says here, the vibes are high in here tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, yes, Green Swan.
Yes. Oh, Pete. Oh, never mind. I'll talk to you later on that one, Pete. Real quick, as we're going into high vibing awesomeness, we kind of touched on that. And then I was just it was cool to hear that you said a couple times about community engagement. Could you just give me a couple ideas on some of the things you currently do? Because I think that so Green Bay, having traveled especially now to like La Crosse, Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay is definitely behind the times, and I think it's because there's not somebody like yourself who's super engaged with the community. That's also, it'd be one thing if I just sold some products and then I'm trying to engage with the community, but when you're actually growing it, breathing it, I mean, I think, and you're able to show and educate about it. Is that kind of what you're talking about as far as like your community engagement goes?
Oh my gosh, it's been all range of things, but it's really working with our retail partners in figuring out how we can reach their communities and beyond. Shout out to Cheryl's Club 175. That's my mama, Cheryl. I'm sure she's on here watching and cheering me on. She's been my biggest supporter. And from her club that she's owned since 1999, for the badass female warrior business owner that she is, she's been one of my, my mom and my mentor, kind of guiding me through entrepreneurship and business.
Great burgers, by the way.
Yes, so the Wisco burger you had, Bobby,
Yep.
that's a club favorite. And we also infuse. We have a Dankinator, a CBD infused Dankinator, where we use like a bang bang sauce that we infuse with our broad spectrum hemp oil, and then put it on the burgers. And then we also have been doing a cocktail culture at Cheryl's Club 175. Adding it to drinks. So we got the gin and chronic, the sunshine and daydream with Red Bull Tropical that actually sponsored our first drink menu. Red Bull did for the CBD infused cocktails, which is pretty invigorating. So that vertical integration with the business from my mom over at Cheryl's Club 175 has been so awesome. And the community there is insane. We have a chili cook-off this Saturday, raising money for our veterans, our Slinger VFW, where Kelly Sunshine is bringing infused sweet treats to get all the vets elevated. And we'll be infusing a chili for sure. So
what time is the chili cook-off?
1 to 4 this Sunday. Come on through. We need lots of chili taste testers. If you don't enter one, you can always taste the CBD chili and vote for us so we can bring up the ladle.
I might be able to make that. I don't think I have anything on Sunday. I've been trying to hit up a chili cook-off. I've never been to one that I was like.
I meant Saturday. I'm so sorry. Saturday.
We're going to have to restart the whole show.
The third. I'm sorry.
The whole show. I can't edit that. This is live. Do you know how many people just booked their family vacation and now they're going to have to get a refund? Oh my gosh. Just contact DNAHempLLC.com to get your refund.
Yeah. Well, or come to the club and we'll chat about it. We'll raise
for sure. Saturday, even better though. Saturday works good. Todd thinks you're way too chipper for 8 p.m. Todd, I have talked to Ashley at many different points in the day, and this is just Ashley. It's awesome. She is the high vibe tribe.
Judge me. No, and then this past Saturday we just did yoga at the club. Sold out commitment. People, we elevated the cocktails. We had samples. We had it in mocktails for the gals with a sound bowl session. So we're going to be we've been doing a flower crown, making seasonal flower crowns out at the farm. Lots of yoga is happening out there within the plant. We're very big into the yoga community. A static dance from Blue Luna and John Stewart and Honey Down Farm, bringing out goats for goat yoga out at the farm with the seedlings. That it's in May, so the plants are small then, but we're going to do foraging tours and mushroom propagation, inviting people to help in the community garden. We're going to do infusion days in the kitchen so we can really teach people how to work with the plant. So it's any opportunity for community engagement. We've been parades, Bobby Beans. We've been in like probably, 20 parades, maybe not 20, like 15 parades. For my favorite one is coming up, you guys. Bobby Beans, you have to come.
Oh yeah, that's right. What is it called?
It is on March 17th, so on St. Patrick's Day, and the Aaron Parade. The Aaron Inn puts it on. Derek over there organizes it. We are going to be entering in a float of sorts. Last year, we handed out 1,000 joints.
Let's go.
To the people, and there's like over like 5,000. I don't quote me on the amount of people, but it's kind of a big deal in our area.
That's awesome.
And an ancient, long time tradition. So we're out on the streets, and we always are like entering like monster trucks or like someone's like, I got this, and we'll put it in and join the high vibe tribe, riding on go-karts and skateboards, and who knows, like a little nitro circus over there. But hey, it's a lifestyle, I gotta get it how you live it.
No, I felt that. Appreciate you swinging by, Ganja Lovers. They've been a big support of the movement and making connections. Appreciate you guys stopping by as well. They're actually out of Colorado. Looks like Todd is in New Dublin. All right. And sounds like Pete might have been to this Aaron Fair thing because he says it's nuts.
Yes,
he's in Pewaukee. Is that not too far from you?
Aaron is kind of like by Washington County.
Okay.
Yes.
Pete gets around, so who knows? Oh, we got, if anyone else had a couple questions, if you guys want to shoot us some over, as long as they're legitimate questions. Okay, this is not a dating service like happens over there in Wisconsin Weed Warriors once in a while. I didn't mean that. No, we're not giving dating advice. Sorry. Yes,
Oh,
we're both
oh,
proudly
cover
married.
me
So,
now. It's the
yes.
food reading.
We've got Chris says, "What do you think the chances of everything becoming legal here? Seems like we are surrounded by a state that made it legal. States that made it legal. I think the worst case scenario, my understanding is the maps changing, the gerrymandering is going to be that should be good for the people in general because all of a sudden a bunch of people that just assumed they were going to win their election again because they are in a specific sector where the voters align either Republican or Democratic. So now a lot of people are going to have to not just walk the straight and narrow. They're going to have to make up their mind if they support things or not and be loud and vocal about it, or they're not going to get the votes. So I think once that goes through, I think that's what we're looking at. I also think it's a good sign, in my opinion. Again, I don't know this for sure. I'm new to politics, but the fact that Melissa Agard's been working on the bill for 11 years and she is now going to be stepping down, transitioning to Dane County executive, to me, I feel like that's a good sign that she's feeling confident in the bill. But again, it kind of threw me off when Voss brought out his bill, but I'm also now fairly certain that it's just a decoy, being that it's not even getting supported by his own company or his own party. So realistically, I think within a year we're gonna have a pretty good idea of where we're at, and I think even in a couple months, I think some more people are gonna be coming out to show their support for it. Right now, I think people are just hanging tight to see what happens with the maps. Is my opinion on that. Pete says it's only about 25 minutes from him. So yeah, okay. Pete's been to your fair, I think it sounds like, or your what you call it, parade. Lawmakers need to listen to Wisconsin, 100%. That's what I think is okay. We're not going to put that one on here. Talking about Voss, I agree, but we won't share that one. It will happen. Yeah, it definitely will happen. When you look at all the positives that it's brought, and again, one of the things that I've been seeing less and less of on the page and just out in general is people's rebuttals as to why it shouldn't be legal, because it's just the uneducated, in my opinion, that say that, oh no, it's really bad for the state. Da, 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 da. Because when you ask them what the issue is or what their concern is, it usually takes about 2 seconds to be like, that. What is that?
It's my research paper, my
Oh,
literature review.
oh, right on.
Health benefits.
Hey, exactly.
People understand that they have an endocannabinoid system. Every vertebrate species has an endocannabinoid system, an ECS. I feel like, how many people do you talk to, Bobby, that are not aware of this vital system that is your master conductor of all your other operating systems? That just blows my mind. Like, how do we not know this? And it was discovered, 20, 30 years ago. So
Right.
why is this information not being passed and shared? It's like, we can go into conspiracy theories all day long of what it really is, but I feel like it's, people working with herbs and, plant alternative medicine that will further along their knowledge on what to do with the hemp plant,
Sure.
in their
Well, appreciate that, Chris, man. That, and you just look at the surrounding states have it, so if people want it, they can go legally buy it, and then it's just illegal to bring it to your house, but your town or city may be decriminalized. So like it's I feel like things are moving and shaking at the right time. Obviously, when the Let's Legalize Wisconsin and this idea started, it wasn't even in the news, so it's kind of good that it's at least in the news. It's getting some attention. Because now you're getting, again, people are starting to talk about it, which is where we got to start. I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it ain't going to happen. Look how long it's taken. I understand that, but that's why we're trying to get a group of people together, is because in today's day and age, we have this social media tool, but they block us from using it for the most part. That's why we got to be really careful with what we post on the page. But if we don't have some kind of a group that says, hey, this is happening, we need to do this, we were missing that over the last few years. So I think that's also helped the prohibition, because it's been hard to get people to come together. So again, we need to kind of keep rocking and rolling. This is definitely a team effort. It's not one person's better than the next, or it doesn't matter who you voted for. We just need to work together. We're people. We don't need to be divided. And I think that cannabis has been a great eye opener on that front for me anyway, because you meet all walks of life, all different kinds of people. And it's just, again, it's such a beautiful plant, so many medicinal benefits. It's due. It's definitely due. Excuse me. We've got, I think we might have another question or two. We've got,
And
oh,
having
and
said it, having it be sun grown, organic, I feel like with this THCA, it makes it different than D8 or D10 or D11 because you can grow this naturally in the ground and not have to extract and isolate a single cannabinoid and reintroduce it. So I feel like as people become more educated with the plant and the inner workings of the endocannabinoid system, things will begin to click on what product, what best suits them, and how they can incorporate it into their daily life. So I feel like people now here in Wisconsin have so many options and so many opportunities to support local, know your farmer, just educate yourself on what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you need, and feel free to reach out to me too. Hit me up on our socials, shoot me a message, email, give me a call and a shout to see how you can work the plant magic into your life and how do you want to consume and what kind of feeling you're trying to have, because I think a lot of people are chasing this high, and they don't even know why. Like people are using it to go to sleep. Well, why waste the high when you're going to sleep? I feel like a lot of times like marijuana is so misconstrued and misconceived. Um, I feel like as far as
definitely.
now, there's a lot of options. Like be here now, like what we're doing here, because us farmers are out here growing the plant and seeing to it that it's the pure organic goodness. So and willingly sharing our gifts. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of the honey. Like it's liquid gold. I'm like, oh man, that's from our hive, but we do it for the love. So I feel like people just support local, know your farmer, and know what it is what you're really your end result, what you want to achieve out of using this plant medicine.
Definitely. Dawn says, "We're your friends, we're your neighbors, we're the pot party." I like that.
Yes.
um, well, and you bring up a great point because there's a couple times over the last week or so that because I really enjoy the CBD pre rolls because again, the plant does have a use other than just you can get the benefits of it without the whoa man and even in small doses obviously delta 9 can help you with that, but to me the beauty of CBD is the help with pain and anxiety, something that I feel like everybody has at some point. I mean obviously ideally we don't, but welcome to life in today's world. And just to again you kind of find the plant offers so much, you find your different, like for me it's kind of bizarre at this point where like I just know my body and it'll be like, okay, I need to focus. I need to be able to focus tonight. We're going to go to this event, but my back's acting up. So then I'll do just CBD. But then if we're going to a concert and I want the lights to look a little cooler, but I don't want to get way out of it, then I'll do some Delta 8 or a low dose of Delta 9. Like you learn your body. And there's just so many different uses for it. It's not just that high, like you're saying. I think it's really neat.
Yeah, so really just embracing what Wisconsin all does have to offer, and of course, Bobby Bean's appreciating the steps towards legalization. It needs to happen. People should be able to grow their own medicine in their garden. I mean, food is everything. Your food, your diet, your exercise, that all goes into your health. But I feel like because it is such a controversial herb, it's the gateway to holistic healing. Is really what it is, because it is on that high vibrational plant medicine plane, and people just need to like wake up a little bit about what we're putting in our bodies, what we're choosing to supplement with, how we're eating, how you're living, and what you want to do to take your health into your own hands and take back control of your health. And I'm just loving hearing a lot more and more of people, doctors actually talking about plant medicine and being a little bit more educated themselves in the system of what the endocannabinoid system is and how we can best supplement and communicate with that through the receptors, the CB1, CB2 receptors. It's all science, these it's
Yeah.
science. And there's research to back it up. And the US as a whole just needs to come together and federally legalize it. Really, I mean,
Hmm.
because with the agriculture and the opportunity here for farmers to kind of be able to be a leader worldwide of this, why are we being left behind? There's just so much work to do and so much forward thinking, but it can be done and it can be achieved. And I'm so happy that we're here today putting in the work together, because As
Love
a,
that.
everyone's voice really does matter. So thanks for organizing everybody and kind of
Definitely.
letting people see through the corporate greed and the misuse and mistrust into just the philosophies of past decades old theology. It's crazy.
Right. It
Taking
really
that
is.
and growing your own, like
Uh,
plant
Real
preservation.
quick, because talking about a lady that is just she's no BS. Susie, I love Susie. She's the lady. Uh, so
I love her too.
so she would tell me how like when she's got to get a surgery done or something, and they go to give her some kind of a pain med, she'll be like, "Oh no, I don't need any. I took my gummies before I came." So, I love Susie. Susie knows what's up. She's been
Yeah,
around
she's
this for a
trusting
while.
her intuition and listening to her body,
Yep.
and that's with the way the plant works with your CB1 and CB2 receptors and oversees all your other operating system. It just makes sense. It's science.
Right. Todd has a question. Looks like, what would he look for in hemp from DNA for nerve pain?
Nerve pain, depending on the targeted area of the pain, people really like to start with the topical because it's easy. You just rub it right on your targeted area. And this is our body balm. It has 1,200 milligrams of cannabinoids in there. So it's super concentrated because we're getting it straight from the source, seed to soul from the farmer. And we also use an essential oil blend in the balm that works and helps with pain as well. So a great way to get immediate relief. It has menthol camphor crystals in there, so you'll get an icy hot, so you can feel it really working and penetrating into your epidermis, into your layers to provide relief. But the thing with the topical consumption, it's only lasting several hours, right? I mean, it's not a miracle thing. I'm not rubbing it on one time and all of a sudden my nerve pain, but it's gonna help with the pain. And you just have to keep reapplying. And I have people that keep a balm in every corner. You can use this stuff for more just pain. It also helps with headaches and sunburn and any eczema and skin conditions, super dry skin. It's a household item anywhere, but really a great way to help with the nerve. But healing yourself inside out is a whole nother thing. So working with your cellular structure and your nerve endings and being able to promote some healing in that area, I really feel like people can benefit most from something that they can dose and use daily on an everyday basis, because it's going to help over time achieve balance. And whereas the high is like right there and then now, this is over. It's what you don't feel when you're using something like the oil. And we make
Sure.
a 1,200 milligram and a 2,400 milligram, so different concentrations there, depending on what you're treating, how severe your nerve pain is. So you really want to find a dose that's good for you and that you can consistently use, whether it be before bed, 30 minutes before bed, get you a great night's sleep, or in the morning to keep you focused and energized and take the edge off for your pain. So the oil is awesome. And it's like the essence of the farm. It's just mixed with the MCT, organic MCT coconut oil. So it's really bioavailable to your body when you put it underneath your tongue. Like it's called sublingually, because that's going to allow you for fast absorption. So you know exactly how much you're getting it. You know what when you're taking it, and it's when you don't take it that you're like, oh, I forgot my hemp oil today, because just over time it'll help that nerve pain kind of subside way off and really help out and work with your body and its systems instead of against it. So tons of options, but just where you want to start. Do you drink tea, Todd? Because then maybe make yourself a cup of tea every night, to help relax. Maybe you take a puff of the pre-roll, but all of it is good to help with pain, sleep, mood, because how it interacts with your endocannabinoid system. And much like a root system, how you're getting different nutrients and things through your tap roots. That's how your receptors are working too. It's like a lock and key method with the cannabinoids that are concentrated phytocannabinoids available in cannabis. So it's really kind of saying my nerve endings really hurt right here. I need some more help. So that's where they're gonna pass through the receptors and get those cannabinoids to that location. So it can be soluble and available to you.
Well, that's the other unique part about the plant too, and our bodies. Everybody's different, but so like the tea might work better for some folks, might be the balm, but that's the neat thing is it's literally figuring out what harmless medicine works best for you. And I didn't know too. I thought you guys had a website. I didn't see that you could order from it too. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Got the delivery on there at the DNAHempLLC.com. Make sure you get
Whole
that.
pharmacy. Our natural pharmacy is fire, and it really has been making a difference. It's just finding how you're going to work it into your life, because the thing is that people are not getting their cannabinoids naturally anymore. Hemp, what feral hemp back in the day, that's what they were feeding. It was worked into the grain, it was worked into the fiber. Our animals were getting this naturally. We're eating the animals. That's how we're supplementing our system. We're producing more endocannabinoids within our body because we're eating healthier with our diet, with our food and our nutrition. These cannabinoids are actually found naturally in a lot of different like peppers and other foods that we use daily. So really, if you have a good diet, like the Dalai Lama probably doesn't need any endocannabinoids because he's really balanced already. He has a great diet, nutrition. He meditates. He's really tapped in, tuned on to his bodily systems. But for us regular folk around here, that with all these free radicals and oxidants around us, it's kind of a crazy world that we live in today. This is just boosting your system and giving it a little supplementing and giving a little extra help of a vital piece to the puzzle to help bring homeostasis and balance within your life. So it's really finding what works for you and how you want to absorb and get your cannabinoids with different onsets and durations. So just knowing that, some things are going to last longer than others. Some things you have to digest. You have to wait till it kicks in. So it's really kind of where you're at and how you can self-medicate yourself and what works for you.
Sure. And that's the neat thing I've learned with, again, the people who are in this for the right reason, like yourself. If it, I feel like you guys have enough product offerings, but even some people focus strictly on flower, some people focus strictly on the edibles. But what I've learned about the people who are in this for the right reasons is we like to work together to help people find solutions. So I know, like for a couple people, RSO is very important, but like and that might not be something that's offered, but what you'll find is if you start working with the cannabis community, we're just here to help each other. Like, yeah, it'd be great if we can if we know the exact product to help you, but if that doesn't work, we're not just going to say, oh, I don't have something, good luck, right? I'm sure you wouldn't do that, Ashley, if you didn't find something and be like, oh, so we do know these guys over here and we've vetted them and trusted them. Like, it's just this community of trying to help each other, and it's just a really neat thing to be a part of. Even I would say, even if you're going to Michigan or you're going out of state, like if that's what you feel more comfortable with, I feel like if you bumped into Ashley and you were asking her questions, she's not going to say, "Oh, you're an out of stater." Like, this is just a high vibe tribe, I guess you could call it. So it's just really cool.
Get what you need. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, there's enough seats at the table for everybody. Everybody is welcome. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. I feel like I love the creators in this industry. I love their forward thinking. I love their entrepreneurial mindset. They don't put themselves in a box, with this industry. The sky is the limit. The opportunities are endless. It's really just what you make of it. So just being here now, right now, and being the change, it just means everything. And your vibration will be felt around the world. It's pretty wild. Wild times we're in, but you got options. You got so many options. It's just aligning with what works for you and finding, what feels good. And that's just what we all need, is just to feel good.
Exactly. 100%. Well, Ashley, I want to thank you for your time, your information, your insight, your continued support. Looking forward to helping out at the farm. I think that'd be way cool.
I see a barn dance happening.
That would be awesome.
I'd be way down for that. We'll get the troops together and
let's do it. I feel it.
We'll be just dancing to some lights.
For sure. Get some little fancy lights, maybe a little fog machine.
Ooh, the barn. A barn would be a good venue for that. That's definitely
actually
party.
Why am I saying we need a fog machine? We'll just get a few pre-rolls going. Hello.
Hey, the haze.
Yes.
We'll get a fog machine. That's what
you should Google, has anybody hotboxed the barn before?
Well, the barn breathes, so that would be tricky, but I'm sure we could do it. I'm sure we can do it.
I'm just curious.
Danny will have the leaf blower with like the
yeah, like you always see Mike Tyson going around with these last few events he's been at. Some kind of a No, super appreciate your time. Super appreciate everyone stopping out. Everyone who's been a part of this. Again, I beyond thankful for everybody's involvement, the finding and meeting people like Ashley. Um, it's been an awesome ride. It's only been I think we just over 3 months for me being more vocal and more open. Being able to meet more people, and it doesn't feel like it's slowing down at all. So that's a great sign for how big I think this can be as far as getting the right information, the right education from people like yourself to the consumers, so we can really start to put the pressure on the politicians and the change that needs to happen around here. So please keep doing everything you're doing over there, Ashley. I'm sure we'll be in touch, and let's just keep rocking it, y'all.
Keep on rocking in the free world. I like it. We will, Bobby Beans. DNAHempLLC.com, cultivating a natural pharmacy. Check us out. We'd love for you to subscribe on our High Vibe Tribe and go along in this extra awesome journey with us. We're part of it. History in the making. Legalize it.
Let's go. All right, everybody. Susie got her order in. Looks like she's gonna try some CBD, CBG, and CBN oil. Ooh, I love CBD, CBG combos. I use that for daytime use. It's awesome. I'll have to check out Ashley's stuff. I didn't know you guys had that too. I believe it. It didn't cross my mind yet. Don't be offended.
Whole plant, full spectrum.
Fair.
All of it is good. All right on.
She's barely looking. Don't go away. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks again for joining us. We'll talk to you guys on it's Monday, so we'll talk on Wednesday. Have a good night, everybody.